Ed, I'd love to know, and if there's no answer that comes readily to mind, that's fine as well. But I'm 45, and I'm wondering, or roughly 45. So I'm thinking, I am roughly at the midpoint to my next target, which is to get to your age, and then from there to 120 or who knows where.
By then the world will have changed a lot, and your odds will be a lot better.
One can hope. A boy can dream. So I hope that is the case, and that we're not living in some dystopian future where no one has any reproductive health. So I am hoping for the upside case. Let's assume that is true. What are some of the new beliefs or changes in beliefs that most positively impacted your second half? And of course, this is self-serving, and it's possibly a hard question, but how did your thinking or priority or beliefs change kind of after the midpoint that you think, retrospectively looking at it, have most benefited you or those around you?
I started running probably when I was about 40, just a mile or so on a Saturday. And then we talked about last time, I built it up. Then I started actually running marathons when I was 47. So I got into running very late. But marathoning taught me quite a bit about life in a way, because I began to say to myself, life is a lot like running a marathon. And if you look at it that way, here I am at that age then, back in roughly around 50. Here I am at the midpoint, perhaps, of a marathon. So if you're running a marathon, you don't sprint because you'll burn yourself out early. You are careful not to step in potholes. There are all kinds of other things that you need to take care of in order to get to the finish line. And you eventually learn, some of us learn, how to get through the wall without there being a wall anymore, which took me 7 marathons to figure that one out. And so I thought to myself, well, the same thing about life. If you plan ahead, you can avoid a lot of problems that sink other people. Knee replacements, heart clogging up, catching diseases because you don't do proper vaccination, going to countries where there are horrible diseases to catch in the first place, and you can't protect yourself fully, maybe, that sort of thing. So thinking long term is one thing that running a marathon teaches us. And so I tend to think long term anyhow, but that was a great reinforcement.
In the last, say, 5 to 10 years, is there anything you've profoundly changed your mind about? Or it could be recently. I don't need to put a time frame on it.
To me, the value of being around good people and not being around the few bad people is much higher than it ever was before. And the people in my life I consider the most important, and my actions with good people the most important thing. I enjoy other things, but I think at this age, you've basically done most of the stuff that you're going to do of any general broad significance. And so it's a time to reflect and to think about life and enjoy it. And if one has any wisdom, to share it to some extent.
Well, you seem as sharp and as lively as ever, as far as I can tell. I mean, you certainly have more vitality. However, I know that's a bit of maybe an italicized word, but life force than a lot of the 40-somethings I know. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And is there anything else, Ed, that you'd like to add before we bring this conversation to a close?
I think an important thing for everyone is to think about the world and society as us instead of me, and to try to act that way, and to think longer term. Think about how the things one does affects the people around them, not only right away, but down through the years. And it might seem like it doesn't matter, but it does in a way. And a lot of these things that you make better now for the future will actually benefit us a lot sooner than you might think otherwise. Pollution, for example. Climate change is coming along. It's coming along pretty fast. And people might say, well, what do I care about what happens 50 years from now? but it's happening in increments. It'll be a little worse next year and a little worse the year after and so on. And you might not want to be around when it's really bad 50 or 100 years from now, but you might not care because you're only going to be alive another 10 years, let's say, if you're a pretty old person. But still, these things come along sometimes faster than you think and in ways that you don't expect. And so it's wise, I think, to just try to make the world a better place in any way you can, even though you might not reap all the benefits.
Yeah, hear, hear.